This short clip is from my live trading room. You can engage directly with my fabulous team and me at LaDucTrading.com for all our research and trades. Or for just my daily live streams, you can access via YouTube memberships. All links are in the description. Marvell screamed higher yesterday on Jensen. NVIDIA, obviously CEO at the event in Taiwan, talking up Marvell being the next trillion-dollar company. So without any further ado, the market decided to take it there sooner rather than later. Why wait? Anyway, this is MRVL on a monthly. And this is a lovely little evening star reversal back at the beginning of Trump's inauguration and term, where we had that pullback into the tariff terrors, and it looks very, very small in the scheme of things on this monthly chart. But I want to show you because it shows you how a normal market functions. Tight ranges, and you get some really big explosions higher. By the way, that was May of 2023. So we had NVIDIA earnings, big time, big move, ChatGPT, all that jazz. And then you can see the pullback into the beginning of 2025 from 127 all the way down into 47. Big pullback in semiconductors on a combination of DeepSeek. Remember that? January 16th was 20th, whatever it was. DeepSeek in basically presidential gift from China. Remember that? Remember that? I wrote about that a lot. Manhattan Project, the next Manhattan Project 2.0. Okay, so we pulled back, tariff terrors, all that kind of stuff. Then we went sideways for a good long time. Marvell rose from $47 and basically made a high in 2025 of $102.77. Okay, pulled back again to about $70 and then in fugo. Everything changed after the ceasefire headline, but also Claude. So you got Anthropic Claude that came out, and then the whole AI ecosystem really blew up, literally blew up. So you have the low of $70 roughly right before the ceasefire headline Trump sent out on the 8th of April and the Claude release that has changed a massive amount of focus on AI earnings and valuation and spending, oh my, and potential future productivity. We'll see. Anyway, you can see where Marvell blew up yesterday on Jensen's talk of them being the next trillion-dollar company, and it didn't wait. It expanded 10, 20, 32%, and then this morning it's up another 10, 12%, and we have reached 291 from just $70. And literally we're talking just 3 months ago and 2 days. 3 months. Here's your March. Here's your April. Here's your May. And a few days. It's only June 3rd. And this is what the June candle looks like. All right, now I'll kind of zoom out and you can see Marvell right here. All right, so there's your lovely little wedge here that formed. And remember my thing was, do you expect Marvell to go away at the 400 week, this purple line? You know how I'm obsessed with the 400 week? Well, it didn't. It absolutely didn't. That was your buy area. It looks a lot like AMD did. By the way, also, you can't see it so much on that chart, but there's your 400 week. You get the idea. AMD has done a very similar parabola. So I decided last night, as I was thinking about this, Japanese Bank of Japan coming in and intervention not working, to do a little write-up about how dispersion trading, which is what we have going on right now with this concentration of semiconductors, right? You can see global semiconductor sales have also been skyrocketing here. Lots and lots of spending. Semiconductor sales are parabolic with the earnings, with the stock performance, but most people are just long semiconductors. I mean, it is absolutely the most crowded trade, long semiconductors. This is, by the way, Bank of America Global Fund Manager Survey, and they are long semiconductors. It is a massive, massive, massive one side of the boat type of trade. Okay, so what about that? Well, when you get parabolas, you also get a tendency, Micron has done this before, to overshoot, and then they come on down. And I was thinking about this, where Micron did this in 2000 and other NVIDIA did it as well. And the last time that we had this type of dispersion trading, which is single stock mania, whether it be Dell, whether it be Micron, whether it be NVIDIA back in July 2024. And then I remembered, July 2024, dang, NVIDIA had this massive call buying frenzy where more calls were bought in NVIDIA back in July of 2024 than SPY and Qs combined. And I saw this chart. I know I'm getting to a point, right? I saw this chart down here where Micron right now is the leader of the call or the option premium that's traded that is more than SPY and Q combined. SPX is a different animal. But anyway, the point is that's cash settled. You've got a massive, massive dispersion trade going on, and everyone is trying to pick a top. And I'm not. I'm just warning because we have still this outperformance in 10 stocks that are responsible for nearly 70% of the rally from the March lows. And then I wanted to tie it together with, believe it or not, the dollar yen. And the last time that we had massive dispersion unwind was July of 2024, the same time that bold actions didn't work for Bank of Japan. And right now, bold actions are not working for Bank of Japan. So back in July of 2024, they did a surprise little rate hike, and it didn't work out well for the market. NASDAQ came back down 15% very quickly. NVIDIA, semis, SMH came down 25%, and NVIDIA came down 35% very quickly in 3.5 weeks. So we have dispersion trading right now. So that I was literally looking at the combination of dispersion trading and the fact that the market right now, Japan stepping in with massive intervention that's not working, and the fact that yen free fall is a risk. But more importantly, Bank of Japan is coming up next week, right before the FOMC announcement. We have FOMC on the 16th and 17th, but it starts on the 16th, same day as Bank of Japan policy. And then, of course, we've got VIX expiration next week. I talk about yen dollar oil squeeze. I had talked about this being a fractal with gold. In other words, the dollar yen was absolutely a new framework. They were basically settling in gold, not dollar. Well, then the war came in and boom, now we have a dollar oil squeeze that's impacting the yen. Anyway, you can read about all this stuff, my prediction of where I think we're going to head out in time. It's not a question of if, but when for Bank of Japan hike, and then how this all correlates with this upside convexity that we have right now, where no one has downside protection of size because the market is still chasing the AI trade. So just read this at your leisure, and you're thinking about protection and basically how this yen carry trade unwind of July 2024, which was a big deal at the time, is basically a mirror of today. But then it was one stock, NVIDIA. This time it's a basket of stocks. And the basket of stocks, obviously, we know are creating this massive dispersion and single stock skew anomaly that just needs one little disruption in that bullish trend, that bullish long trade, that very, very strong euphoria in AI to turn into profit taking that can then also become more. But anyway, I loved it. As I was doing and pulling some of these charts, literally yesterday, also Michael Green, for those who don't know, absolutely check him out. He's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Anyway, he said in one of the replies, was never the yen carry trade. It was a dispersion unwind. And I literally had to grab that and put that in here because I love confirmation bias in this particular case. So that's it. Iran war is still not priced in. Bank of Japan is going to have to hike sooner rather than later. And likely sharp dispersion unwind will make a visit when market is most complacent. And it kind of is right now.
Join Club to trade with Samantha. Scan this QR code or click the link in the description.